All right.
Hey,
Hello and good evening and welcome to
the truth behind the truth.
You're getting excited. You're getting excited.
It's
All
an earthquake.
Knock things over there.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
He's excited. Hey, good. Definitely good evening, guys.
Yes,
It is a fantastic evening on The Truth Behind the Truth. This is going to be one of our biggest shows ever.
Yes.
Each show is a big show, but this is one of our biggest shows ever. I'm
Yes.
telling you. Except for I think when Danny Glover was on the show, that was the biggest show ever. Okay,
Oh my goodness.
we got to get
yes.
Danny back at some point. And
Yes.
have him. I'm gonna talk to him about that.
Yes.
So we get him at some point this year. But yeah, it's gonna be great. Tonight it's all about the couples.
Hey,
Okay.
Why not?
It's all about the couple. Hey, yeah, that's right, cousin. I was going to introduce them in a second. But so tonight's all about the couples. Okay, we have several different couples. We have 4 different couples from various places around the country and actually around the world.
Yes.
Okay, so we're very excited to hear what their inputs are going to be tonight, and it's just a conversation about them. We want you guys, as the audience, to understand that there is no difference in relationships. Okay, at the end of the day, and hopefully that you'll be able to walk away, roll away, move away, whatever you're going to do with this conversation tonight, to be able to understand that and be able to help your relationship be even more defined. Okay, so it's going to be exciting. I'm really excited to have our guests tonight, with that as well. Also at the table tonight, my wonderful cousin, back as usual. I love her. Twana Hall Scott is back with us. Tonight, yes, our dear Farnell is off in doing things on the stage in Michigan,
right.
and if you're in the Rochester area, check him out. All right,
After midnight.
Oh
No. It's Blues in the Night.
Blues in the Midnight. Yes, that's what it is.
Blues in the Night.
So-
Opening night. This is opening night.
Opening night. That's right. Yeah. So we send him all power, joy, and fun, and all that great
Yes.
stuff for a great
Yes.
evening with that.
Yes.
Harold, how are you tonight, sir?
I'm doing well. I'm glad to be back in North Carolina.
Okay.
I was in Pennsylvania and
Right.
Maryland last week.
Right.
I spoke at Mount St. Mary's University for their Black History program.
Oh,
So,
wonderful.
really good. I was the keynote speaker,
Okay.
and it just reminded me when I was in college, how I just remember being so insecure, but not
Okay.
looking it.
Wow.
And after I talked, because they wanted me to talk about self-love. And so I was
Okay.
talking about being enough and what does that mean, and cultivating that within yourself.
Okay.
And one of the students came up to me with tears in her eyes and said that she needed to hear that message. And I started tearing up because we never know what people are going through, but we know everybody's going through something.
So true.
And so, sometimes it's just when we are sharing our truth, we give light and hope to other people.
Or you
And
better say that again.
so it was really good. I had a good time.
Beautiful. I'm really glad to hear that's encouraging to me based upon what you said, because I find myself every day doing that, with people that come in the store, and I've had some I've shared on the show some very powerful moments, with people, that has come in the store, and unexpectedly, I'm going to say that the universe, or however some people say, maybe the Holy Spirit, if they want to refer to it that way, or God speaking, however, whatever perspective that we want to put that in, saying that, but I consider it just being available and open. You know what I mean? Because you become an open vessel at that time. And as long as you are open vessel, you will hear the download. And that download is knowing exactly. I like how Twana says that my daddy God knows exactly what to say, when he needs to say it, and I really love that. I could get into the story, but I'm not gonna do that. Twana, how you doing, baby?
I'm doing wonderful. Glad to be with you all. Both of your messages are right on time in terms of what Harold said that brought tears to his eyes. There are times when, at least 2020, to me, those of us that survived and were able to come into 2023, there's a reason and there's a purpose for our lives, and we need to be about that. But most of the time, we're not about it unless we're sitting still. Like I like to say, how your parents used to say, sit down someplace.
Right.
It was an opportunity for us to sit down someplace and get to
Mm-hmm.
know who we are and why we are here for this particular reason.
Absolutely.
So that's what I have spent the last year and a half, 2 years. I took basically 2 years off of my Word Up show and stood still and stayed focused, and have emerged and have a lot of things in the process.
Absolutely, that day, and we can't wait because we're gonna have to share that through the world, through the truth behind the truth. I mean, it's a lot.
Yes.
It's definitely. So, how are you, love?
I'm great.
And I'm about to tear right now because something getting ready to happen. I'm sorry, but I feel it. But anyway, let me shut up for a minute. Okay, go ahead, talk.
But I feel so blessed to be alive. You know, and like you say, you know, I went through a struggle in college too, Harold. Trying to live not only in my truth, but to live in my also you know, when you go through insecurity, you sort of your vision is so clouded to what life is supposed to be or what path you're supposed to be going. Right. And I'm telling you, when you find out that message, when you realize that you are enough, everything does change.
Right.
And I think that's where it boils down to: loving yourself, knowing that you are enough, and that you are what you call God's design, authenticity. Authenticity. You are His design.
Wow.
And that's all it's based on. So you know what? That is a message that needs to be spread it all over the world at this point, because there's so much going on in the media, social media. You know, people have, you know, and there's nothing wrong with media, but it's what you take in. And I think that's what it is. It's what you take in every day that kind of messes up the program for each and every individual. But other than that, though, how was everybody's Valentine's?
Oh, it was wonderful.
Oh, did y'all have a good Valentine this past week?
I did. You know what I was telling the young folks at the university, because I spoke the day after Valentine's.
Yeah,
Valentine. We need a self-love day for those of us who love on ourselves. You know. True. Too often we're looking for other folks to love on us when that's our responsibility. And that was what I was reiterating to the students, because, you know, some of these holidays and days can trigger things in folks and make folks think that they're inadequate just because they're not booed up or with somebody. But you're enough just as you are. So you don't have nothing to prove, defend, or protect. Just as you are.
All right. Okay. I like prove, defend, or protect. I like that. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
My husband asked me, we've been married now for 25 years, 26. I lose count. But he has always gotten me something for Valentine's Day, but never gives it to me. I find it around the house.
Oh my God.
And I told him 2 years ago, don't get me nothing else for Valentine's Day ever. You can just go back into the stack of cards that you didn't give me and pull out of there. But I said, the reality is every day that I wake up and I have a roof over my head and floor under my feet and warm water and a man that hugs me and says, baby, I love you, you know, on occasion, not every day, but on occasion we have, that's Valentine's Day. I'd rather have flowers when I don't expect it versus when the world says this is the day.
Right.
Spontaneity keeps the relationship going.
Right. Absolutely.
JB, how you doing?
I'm good. You know, I was sitting here, you know, I mean, because what you said earlier, I mean, it struck the spiritual emotion from me just that particular moment, you know, when you said that, and especially about purpose, you know, when you spoke about being in a place. Oh gosh, I'm sorry, y'all. I was privileged, you know. Okay, let me try to hold it together to get this out, okay, because it's just real powerful. It's really, really powerful. But, you know, I mean, you know, when we moved to California, we knew that it was a purpose, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, my cousin, I ran it by her. I told her what we were going to do. And, you know, and she said, the only thing she said was go for it because God's got a plan. And I'm sorry.
That's all right.
All right. Take it.
It's all right.
It's all right. It's all right.
You wonder so much about how that plan is going to play out, you know, and what it's supposed to be for your life and your destiny. Well, today I had, Pastor. He's become a great pastor friend of mine, and we're working. He is kind of the biggest project up to this point that Truth Behind Truth Productions is going to be doing for him. Well, he invited me today. He sent me a text. He invited me today to be on this conference call. Okay. And which I did. I logged on specifically. I had no idea who I was going to be connected with on this call. And he just I can't even find the words how he gave me such praise in the midst of all of these wealthy people.
Oh, wow.
And he
Wow.
acknowledged the fact that I was his producer and what I was putting together to make him be better. And he said, guys, I want you guys to lean toward and find out what this man is doing for us in Black Wall Street. And how he is going to be so intricate in helping us develop and move forward in what he's doing in Black Wall Street. When I tell you this man is known from San Francisco to San Diego and what he has done in the state of California and now nationwide and now possibly even worldwide, and we met simply because he came into my store and he said, I got to work with you. And never knew each other from Adam's house cat, as they would say. And it has been an enormous blessing to have this man a part of my life and what he's going to do and what he's been earmarked to do, and we earmarked to do together. So there's more, but I got to cut off of that, but I'm grateful right now, and Harold, you just struck that moment about purpose, and it's ignited the point of man. Woo, when you know your purpose and when you start moving in your purpose, the universe has stuff already aligned and designated for you. Okay, it's designated for you. And as you move towards your purpose, it just begins to unveil and unveil and unveil and consistently unveil.
When you walk with purpose, you'll collide with destiny.
Oh my God!
That's
See,
right.
Oh my God!
That's right. Preach, brother.
Truth behind the
I got to
truth,
get through this
right?
show
This
tonight,
is
but
the
I'm just like, wow. Okay,
Wow.
I'm just at a moment of wow. We had talked about, we supposed to talk about other stuff, doing, but this was the ordained moment. This was the organic moment that we needed to have prior to this, to our guests coming on to the show tonight. And Harold, thank you. Okay,
Wow.
Thank you for pouring from your heart. Thank you, Twana, for pouring from your heart. Thank you for pouring from your heart, because this sets the tone for tonight. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it sets the tone, and I am just excited. I'm so trying to hold back these excitement tears, but I can't. So,
well, I'm excited about this conversation with relationships. I got my notes and my pads so I can learn some things.
Exactly.
So I can have a healthy relationship. So I'm really excited about this
Yes,
conversation.
indeed. So we're going to dig in. We got some good stuff to talk about tonight, but I'm telling you. But anyway, audience, I'm trying to put it together, y'all. All right, I'm going to put it together so we can have this conversation. All right. We got to go for a quick break. We will be back with our wonderful panel tonight, and it's going to be an exciting show. So get your bootstraps on, go get your wine, get some popcorn.
Get your pen and your paper, because we all need to help
get
the
your paper
relationship.
and write down some notes. I like that, Harold. Get some
Amen.
paper to write down some notes, okay? All right, guys, we'll be right back after this break with our wonderful guests.
If you need a pickup, call Junk Stars. Yeah. If you need a dumpster or a demolition, call Junk Stars. Yeah. Call 844-55-STARZ. Junk Stars. What's that at the door? It's Junk Stars, baby.
Hey, my name is Thurston, and here I have my CEO, son Langston. We specialize in junk removal, dumpster rental, and demolition. So if you need junk removed,
Call Junk Stars.
you need dumpster rentals,
Call Junk Stars.
All right, and we are back,
Yes.
guys. Thank you so much for tuning into The Truth Behind the Truth. It's me and my tears at night on Truth Behind the Truth. but it's all a good thing. It's all a good thing.
Happy tears.
Happy Tears Day.
Yes,
You know, like-
yes.
They're not sad, believe
Not
you me.
at all.
Right,
Tears of joy.
They are truly
Tears of joy.
truly that. Well, anyway, so again, thank you for tuning in tonight. Also, real quick, want to remind you re-airing of our show on Wednesday. So if you want to pass it on and send the link to everybody, we will be re-airing this particular show again on Wednesday night at your respective time. I think it's 3 hours earlier for wherever you are, across the country, whatever. But you'll get a chance to see it again. Also, want to remind you to go to our webpage, www.thetruthbehindthetruthproductions.com as well. We will be updating that and bringing more information about when Twana's book comes out and all the things. So any guests, any information, we will be hosting that on our page as well. Okay. And DTWW reactions as well. And we want to remind you, of course, Juicing with Harold. What is your company name, Harold? I know we put. Is it just
now?
The Good Living? Good Living Now. Right. Okay. That's right. Okay. So yeah, I'm sorry. I'm kind of like all over the place trying to pull myself back in here. All right. Well, without further ado, let's introduce our couples for tonight.
Yeah,
all right?
so let's start with the first couple. This couple's from Ghana.
Wow.
Larry and Padita is our first couple. Haley and Dominique from Virginia. How you doing,
Hey,
Lawrence?
guys. Hey, Lawrence.
Rose and Victor.
I'm doing great. Doing great.
Good.
Thank you.
All right.
And then we
Carmen
And
and Caleb.
Caleb.
Hey, how y'all
All
doing?
right,
From
yes.
Chicago.
Chicago, yes.
Oh my
Yes,
goodness.
yes.
All right.
So welcome, guys. We are so glad to have you tonight. Everybody's looking fresh and and made up and and all that stuff.
Yes.
That's okay, but no, we really certainly love it. We're glad that you guys took the time out of your schedules to be a part of what we're doing tonight. So we're going to start this conversation. We're going to open up. So we really want to hear from you guys. In that, we'll throw some questions out at you and see how you answer them. If either one of you have a response to that to add into that, certainly feel free to do so. And that. But I'm going to take the first one.
Well, let's ask this question.
Sure.
Valentine's.
Okay, good.
How was your Valentine's? That's what I want to know.
Okay.
And any one of y'all could just start up, but just wow. I just want to know. How was it?
I guess I'll start. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, this is our first Valentine's together. So
nice.
Patty and I are in Ghana, and I'm normally in Charlotte. So I didn't have a lot of resources, couldn't do a lot. And so I went out to this little market I go to every day and get some provisions and stuff. And I stumbled upon a little friend of mine. Introduce our friend here. What's his name, honey?
Name is Miracle.
Like that.
That's Little Miracle. That's Little Miracle.
Little
And I
Miracle.
wrote,
Okay, I love
yeah,
that.
Little Miracle. And I wrote Patty a card on just a little piece of paper, and I wrote I love you, and I wrote I love you, and whenever I say I love you, I mean, and I put a whole bunch of things in, but the first one and the last one was whenever I say I love you, it means I can't live without you. And so amen to that. And we had a very romantic day and didn't do much, but we had a lot of fun.
But that's it.
Beautiful.
We had Ghanaian food.
Yeah, we had Ghanaian food.
Great.
So while we got Lawrence and Peter, I wanted to ask you one great question real quick. So I don't know.
Just
if
make
that's
sure you got a little back.
we got a little back. I don't know if it's on who's in there. We got a little bit of sound, but we'll work through it.
Yes.
But anyway, so I want to ask you guys. So that there is a difference in age gap. Okay, in that. How did you guys? Originally when you first met, work out that particular difference between you? I think if I'm right, Peter, you're like 35, and Lawrence, I think you're 25 right now. How did you guys work through that? Originally when you first met, and knowing that there was an age difference.
Patty, why don't you answer that?
Yeah, how did we meet?
No. The question is the age gap. How did you deal with that right away?
Okay. When he told me of his age, I told him, to me, age is just a number. The most important thing to me is love and understanding and happiness. Yeah.
Okay.
We knew there would be hurdles. You know, I was already out of college when Patty was born. So our expression is, I have one daughter, and sometimes I tell Patty, I said, honey, I already have one daughter. And so we make light of it, and we don't get hung up on it. Love is love.
Right, absolutely. That's beautiful. I love that. Harold, you have the next question?
You know, I always say that love finds us. We don't find love, and it happens when we least expect it. Carmen and Caleb, y'all been together 7 years.
Yeah.
How did love find you, and how did you know that it was love?
Wow, good question. So we met on Instagram, right? Very age way of meeting.
Who slid in whose DM?
He slid in my DM. He always teases me about this, but he definitely slid in my DMs. But I followed him first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so very new age way of meeting. And it's funny because I always tell him this: the very first text message outside of Instagram, I just knew it was just something about him. I was just like the way his message was like very concise. He wrote me full sentences, and at that point, I was dealing with men who were just like some of the text messages I didn't even understand.
What's up? Like, what's up?
Right, exactly. So yeah, it was just something about him that really like drew me to him, and yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd say someone made a similar point earlier on when we regrouped, and it was the longest going relationship. And that's the case as well. I think my longest relationship prior to Carmen was somewhere hovering between 8 and 9 months.
Wow.
Wow. Extended. And after we got involved, after a year, I was already kind of convinced that this was something different, something new, like this is something happening here. It didn't take me a year to know that I loved it, of course, but yeah, I think fairly quickly. I was like, this is,
So what made you slide in her DM? You saw her.
Well, I think the like came first. She liked the photo of mine.
Okay.
And having seen that, I was like, oh, okay.
Let me tell you guys how he did it. Right? So, here's my DM. This was back on Instagram when you had to send a picture with a DM. So it was when DM was like fairly new.
Right.
So he sent me a picture of a lion looking at its prey. And he didn't say anything else.
Wow.
He didn't say anything else, but just put his number. He didn't say, hi, my name is Caleb, nothing like that. He just put his number. And I was just like, okay.
That was smooth. That was smooth.
That was real smooth.
Right.
I'm curious as to for Victor and Rose. You all have been together the longest, I believe, of all of our guests. How do you keep it fresh?
Right.
Hi, everybody.
There you go.
And Rose over there looking 32, though. I'm like,
So long, we don't remember half of it. Like, we've been together 32 years.
Wow.
Married
That takes work.
26. Yeah. So how did we meet? I actually.
How do we keep it?
How do you keep it fresh? Not me. How you keep it
How do you
fresh?
keep it fresh?
That's for me.
Well, we still date.
Okay.
You want to say the rest?
Well, I mean, we try to introduce new things. Just our son moved out recently, and so we talked about this. Like, oh, we both like to receive massages. So Rose like, okay, she just made a decision to buy a massage table. So now we're both learning, and we're kind of massaging each other.
We're alone in the house.
Nice.
There's a connection.
Right.
I'm a massage therapist in
Yes.
training, so that was our big deal.
We go out dancing. Like, dance is the one that connects us. So we
Wow.
together. And I have a man that can dance fine.
Oh, wonderful.
Okay.
Oh wow, that is awesome.
Oh, so I'm gonna before I'm gonna get to other couple just down. So I want to ask a cross cultural question. So what would be your, as a couple? What would be your advice that you would give to Lawrence and Peter to create a different longevity for their marriage? That's to Rose and Rose and Victor. So
we're from same culture, so it makes it so much easier because as we were kids, we ate the same things. We had same schedule for beds, same school schedule. Everything was identical, so that made it easier. But different cultures, I think it's very important to be open-minded, to ask questions. Let's say when you go to a party, like how do you supposed to dress? What are the rules? Up front, because we're watching 90 Day Fiancé show and we see how couples are unprepared. Like, oh, I didn't know this. I didn't know what. Talk ahead of time.
Okay.
Right, sort of setting up boundaries of what, likes and dislikes, and say, this is how far I'd like to take or do things, or these are my preferences, or instead of going with the flow and then later say, oh, I didn't like that, or we should have done it differently. It's really coming, being honest with yourself first, and then with the other person, and just sharing it. This is how I see us, and then kind of talk about it.
Set expectations. Yeah.
Oh wow! So what's so interesting? We already know from Perdita and Lawrence, from Carmen and I'm so sorry, Caleb. I'm so sorry. You know what? It's so funny, but I'm figuring out that apps have a big deal right now.
Okay.
And finding your love.
Okay.
Now Dominique, wow, and Haley. I realized too that y'all also have found love on an app too. And what was that app by chance? And how you doing?
We're doing well. Funny story. I never do dating apps because I'm old school, and I watch too many TVs of catfish. So I just slide her DMs. I saw she had a beautiful photo of herself, the app of her, and I was like, okay, she's gorgeous, might as well say how she's doing, start a conversation. And then a few hours later, I just got a text, and I just felt really nervous. I was like, oh, snap. Is this a real thing? I'm not sure. So,
first of all, that's not what happened. He was like, can I FaceTime you?
Oh.
And I was like, it was within a few hours of us talking, and I was like, okay, that's real direct. But when she FaceTimed me, I was just like, okay, she's like, oh, you're real. Like, yeah, I'm real. I don't know. I've been on dating apps since, I started college. I was on Bumble, I was on Hot or Not, all of these different dating apps. So when I started to recognize that I wasn't really feeling men, and I was really on the women's side, then I got on the app Her, and it was, I wouldn't say it was a first swipe, but I found her.
Wow. What I find so intriguing, and I'm going to ask this question, that this is your first time being in a with a woman, and especially as a couple. Haley, is that correct?
Yes.
Wow. That, I'm just saying, because that right there, now that was a big step, correct? In your life.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. Wow.
How did your families handle it when you all talked about it was a 2-year process? Your engagement was almost 2 years, because you, I guess, trying to satisfy family. Do we have a big marriage? Do we have a small marriage? And going through all that dynamics, and you ended up eloping. Talk to us about that.
It was tough. Haley is originally from Honduras, and my family is from Southern Virginia, where I'm half Black and half white. But I really only know my Black side. And so, for me, I grew up in a Christian family, and Haley also grew up in a very Christian family. And for me, I've always been a little removed away from my family. This, family trauma and things of that nature. I left home when I was 14, and it's just been tough from there. So for me, it was kind of like it was just one more thing that made me different than the rest of my family because I was already the black sheep. For Haley, I don't know, babe, describe.
For me, I grew up with a single mother, and you know, my father figures hasn't been around in my life a couple times. And growing up with a single mom, and it's just been tough. And knowing,
And you're the oldest,
and I'm the oldest with my two younger siblings, you know, it's been really hard to express myself because having a Christian mom and a mother that's like very strict and overprotective, it's like it's not something to be open up about.
Right.
Haley's very masculine. You know, she
Say it again, you cut out.
She's very masculine. So
Yeah.
she started kind of dressing like a guy when you were what?
I would say 13. Well, I was dressing up as a tomboy, but I didn't realize when I was very at the young age. But I started realizing a little bit more, like having that growth and knowing by myself. But the time when I did open up myself, I was just turning 18, and it felt really. It sucks, you know. Like none of my family was very supportive or open-minded, and it was been hard having that.
So they really, you know, it's like they loved us as individuals, but they didn't want us to be together.
Right.
And it was really difficult because we would check in with friends and we would check in with family, and they would have these ideas, or they would, you know, be like, well, is this really something that you're really into, or is this just a phase, or just things like that? And it just really, it really brought us actually closer together because we were experiencing
the same thing.
So we decided to elope because we didn't have that support. You know, we had previously gone to a wedding literally a month before we decided to elope. We had gone to an LGBTQ wedding that was phenomenal. When I tell you, all the stops were pulled out. It was the most beautiful wedding I'd ever been to. And really my first wedding, I think, that we had ever been to.
Yeah.
And they were a trans couple. And they just had so much support. And to us, it was like, we don't feel that. And it wasn't like a jealousy thing. It was more of just like, we have to do something for ourselves despite what everyone else has going on. Because we love each other.
So let me ask, open up a little bit more, and thank you guys. I really appreciate that, and that was just really, really great. So I want to ask the other couple, just kind of either one of you guys can chime in with that. So looking at Haley and Dominique's situation and what they went through or whatever, what is your opinion typically on how do you feel personally about a same gender couple and them getting together? What is your honest opinion about that, or questions that you might have in your head about it? Anybody can take it, if you want.
And we're also
I'm sorry. We got to go to break. Hold that thought. Okay. And we'll pick it up right back when we come from a quick break. I didn't see that coming up. All right, and we are back, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into the Truth Behind the Truth tonight. It is getting hot.
All right, so let's get back into it.
We're going to dig
Let's
back
get
into it. So the original question that I had asked, earlier, is again open for all of the couples. Not picking on Haley and Dominic, of course, but I want to hear what you guys feel about understanding a same-gender relationship. In your opinion, is it a part of your walk of life? Do you have family members in that, and how you deal with that? And then maybe they can help you understand a little bit more where you may not have a clarity in your own perspective of it. So anyone, let's start with Carmen and I can't pronounce the name. Caleb. Carmen and Caleb. We'll start with you guys first.
Yeah. So little fun fact about me, I actually used to date women. I dated women from like 18 to like right before I met Caleb. And when I met him, I was very open, with him about that. And so I definitely relate to Haley and Dominique when it comes to coming out to your family, especially as a feminine woman. And, my mother did have a hard time when I did come out. Her main thing was, if you looked gay, I would understand. But since you grew up feminine, like in girl things, she didn't really understand. Now, fast forward, she's more accepting. I mean, I am in a heterosexual relationship now, but she understands. She's like completely accepting. And so yeah, obviously, like I accept it and I love it. Like I'm there. I have a ton of gay friends. Like I consider myself a part of the community, even though like I'm in a heterosexual relationship. Yeah.
Very progressive.
Yeah, definitely very progressive.
Very progressive.
Victor and Rose, you want to take it?
Well, I want to hear Caleb.
Oh, I'm sorry, Caleb. Okay.
No,
Sorry,
you all are fine. I mean, this was something I knew about her very early on in our relationship. As it pertains to me in my personal life. My second brother, and it's never been anything that was ever cause of concern, or ultimately I just wanted to know if my siblings were happy or if my wife was happy.
Okay.
It's really always boiled down to that, and it still boils down to that same very question to this day.
So were you? I'm sorry to interrupt. So you were saying that you were in the same relationship like Carmen was at one point before you guys got together?
No. I was saying my brother. I have an older brother.
Your brother. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Got you.
Yep.
Gotcha.
And, for me, it's just does the person make you happy? It doesn't matter what walk of life that person comes from or what perspective. I just want to know if they make them happy.
Wonderful.
And wait, and you guys are newly engaged, right?
Yeah.
Right.
When did you guys get engaged?
New Year's, actually.
The last day of 2022.
Yep.
Oh, congratulations.
Oh,
Caleb, how did you propose? Caleb?
Wow. So she always complains how I never surprise her, right? So I did the last 2 months from October to December 31st planning a private dinner in New York. We went up to New York, and I also made sure that she had family and friends there as engaged. So yeah, she came down. She did it. She wasn't expecting it, and turned the corner. Everyone was there.
Nice.
Dropped on one knee, did the whole shebang. So
wow, congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations.
Wonderful. Congratulations, definitely.
So
real quick and run the same question. Oh,
If I can say a tip, what Rose and I did, actually do it fairly often when we travel. Like a couple of years ago, before COVID, we went a trip to Europe. One of the destinations was Paris and one was London.
Ooh, yes.
Split the roles and said, okay, you're organizing all the activities, restaurants, hotel, sightseeing for Paris, and I'm going to do the London. And so, that was kind of like a surprise because the other person, partner didn't know, where we're going or what we're doing. So it was kind of cool. So
nice
for Caleb and Adia.
I like that idea, especially I have a control freak husband, so I'm going to use it.
So I know our time is getting kind of tired. We really want to kind of dig in a little bit more deeper here, and I'll kind of keep it on an open forum. So what's today's climate, okay, in relation to the way that they are going on right now? What are you guys' opinions on people that have open relationships and things like that now, factoring that into their lifestyle? What do you guys think about that?
We have a lot of friends that.
What do you mean by
that kind of
go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry. I should go ahead, Dominic. You got to go ahead.
Well, I was actually, I think Rose and Victor were talking.
Okay.
Okay.
I know it's good. Go ahead, Victor.
No, I said we have a lot of friends that are in that kind of relationship, and we're just okay with that. We go to their parties, and it's fun. It's like nothing, not a big deal at all for us.
Yeah, well, that's good. Lawrence and Peter, let's hear from you guys.
Yeah. Define an open relationship for me.
Yeah, well, okay, good point. So I guess, like I said, with today's climate, open relationships, does it mean that if they see somebody else that they want to be sexually involved with, or whatever the case may be, then it's okay by either partner, or whatever, or even to the point of inviting someone into their relationship as well. And it's like it's huge in today's climate.
Yeah. Padita and I'll just make this quick. I flew to Ghana on November 14th to meet a person that catfished me. And the bartender at the bar where I was staying at the hotel, he told me about Padita. And we communicated for the first time on November 15th.
Okay.
I proposed to her on November 18th.
Wow.
And we married on December 13th.
Wow.
We met for the first time on December 11th.
Wow.
The reason why we did that is because of the conviction we have to our Lord Savior Jesus Christ, is we said, and this is no disrespect to anybody else, this is just personally for us, is that we did not want to engage in any kind of sexual activity or any kind of relationship other than courting, which wasn't going to work between USA and Ghana. We couldn't court. So we said, what the heck, let's just get married. And we got married right away. And we just talked today, and we're like, it just seems like we've been together 3, 5, 20 years. And by jumping deep into that commitment of marriage, I think it eliminated a lot of issues that we would have possibly had, because we are Mr. and Mrs. Durnick. And so we don't pass judgment on anyone. It's not ours to judge anybody, but personally, with our relationship, we because of the difference in the ocean, we just dove all the way in, and we put everything on the line with friends, family, and reputation to risk it all to meet and marry someone within 2 days.
Well, Lawrence, you talked about having you had a near-death experience that perhaps even ushered you further into that commitment to move forward with her. Can you talk to us about that?
Yeah, with a near-death experience, you lose all fear. I have no fear of failure. Money doesn't matter to me. All I care about is unconditional love.
What was the near-death experience?
My near-death experience changed everything, because my whole life is all about unconditional love.
No, I'm saying, what can you talk to us about what the near-death experience was?
Yeah, I had a cardiac arrest at 11:40 p.m. on May 27th, 2021. My daughter, Jenna, called me at 11 p.m. She said, "How you doing, Dad?" I go, "Dad, I'm not feeling good." She goes, "Call 911. She must have had a premonition." I died in front of a room full of paramedics at 11:40 p.m. that night. And when I died, I was sitting in a chair. They were hooking up the electrodes on me to do an ECG. And I went into a full body convulsion. I saw gray. I went down a black tunnel. And then all of a sudden I woke up in a warm environment of all white with purple, yellow, and red flowers deep, far away from me. Wow. I experienced warmth and love like I've never experienced. I woke up and I only had one word to say. When I had the mask, when I came back from the white, I saw my body being pushed on the stretcher, and I saw the mask, the yellow mask being put on. And from that point all the way to the hospital for when I had a widowmaker heart attack and cardiac arrest at the same time. So my chances of survival were less than 2%. Wow. And so, I leaned on Lord Jesus Christ, and the experience has changed me forever. And it allowed me to take a chance like this. And I have no fear that It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Do everything in the name of love. If you do it in the
Yes,
name of love,
yes. Just like the song goes, taking a chance on love. That's beautiful.
Absolutely.
God is love. Praise God. Thank
you for that.
Yes.
Yes, thank you for that.
Yes.
So we're going to keep that
Thank
same question going to Haley. You guys want to answer that same question real quick? We'll get everybody on the round with that. Then we'll move on.
So we've gone back and forth about having a little bit of openness, only because we're both, I think, not the most experienced individuals. You know, Haley's had a little bit more experience than I have when it comes to lesbian relationships. And for me, I am what you would consider a gold star in the lesbian community because I've never actually been with a man. And Haley,
that's called Gold Star?
Yeah. So if you're considered a gold star in the lesbian community if you've never been with a man and you are with only a woman.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and that's a good. Oh, okay.
Yes. So Haley and I are both considered gold stars. We don't have any interest in men, but we are open to possibly, you know, doing a threesome in the future, just to kind of spice things up and you know, just.
I'm sorry. Say that again. You doing what in the future? Hold. I missed that.
So try to do it probably in the future, but at the same time, we'll always like have that conversation just
to have a threesome or bring someone else in.
Yeah.
Okay.
So speaking of threesomes, I have 3 questions for you.
Okay.
Who is more romantic? Who is more romantic? Haley or Dominique? Who's the more romantic one?
Me.
You?
Oh.
Who's better with money? Who normally apologizes first?
Me.
Wow. That's good. That's definitely good. Okay, same question. We're gonna move on. Carmen and Caleb.
Who's more romantic?
The same. The
fire round. The first question here. We're going back to the first question.
Okay.
So you guys' thoughts on open relationships and whatever and things like that, and where do you guys see it? Or are you guys open to that to your relationship because of given past and what have you? Are you guys open to bringing that into your relationship now?
So for me personally, I am a one woman man, or how can I say it? I'm a little selfish when it comes to, you know, who I'm with. I don't really
want to share.
I don't want to share. You know, Caleb talks about it sometimes, and I'm just like, it's a, you know, he knows how I feel about it.
Okay.
Amen.
So what's your point, Caleb?
I follow her lead. It's never anything that I'm gonna pressure. It's funny you said that. I bring it up because you brought it up a couple times.
I think this is his fantasy. He's like, it's like a fantasy world. And then knowing that I've been with women before, I think, you know, as a straight man, they automatically think about that, right? I'm like, no, I don't. That's not really like what I want to do.
Okay.
Got you.
Well, you brought up a very strong point about that, and then I think that, as you said, it should be a very mutual understanding. And 9 times out of 10, it always ends up being the man that wants to to change the dynamic in the course of the relationship, you know. And that can be a little selfish, you know, at the end of the day. And then women have a tendency, in some cases, just to put up with it, you know. I mean, you know, to keep her husband or spouse, you know, happy in the process of that. Okay, so we can go on another question. Harold, you got another question you want to throw out there for the group?
3 questions.
I think we're ready for the break.
We got break coming up? Sorry. Oh, gosh. I'm missing breaks now.
It's getting good. That's fine.
Yeah, I'm so into you guys. I'm missing breaks. All right, so we're going to another quick break, and we'll be right back. We'll dig in some more.
Yes.
All right, and we're back, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into this getting spicy conversation tonight with our wonderful couples. All right, we're going to dig in. Twana, why don't you take the next question for the group and throw them one of them good ones out there.
I have a question. I think it's specifically of Victor, Victor and Rose. I am challenged, and maybe you can help me. I'm doing much better with a cursing tongue in terms of somebody upsetting me, and you like just slip off and curse them out, and also with a spirit of being quiet. And in your bio, you talked about you don't curse, and you can, just kind of keep yourself centered. Give me some tips.
Okay. Well, yeah, it's very important to refrain from profanity and name calling. We hear so many couples, they insult each other, and it just escalates. It just, there's no end, right? You just follow that path, and it's growing. So early in our relationship, we set that as a boundary not to do that because we didn't like it, and it's offensive, and it separates the people.
So you basically shared with each other you were going to make an agreement not to do it.
Yeah, we don't provoke each other.
Yeah, initially, really, it was Rose that pushed that forward, and it was in the beginning for me some challenging. It's but she stuck with it. She never really, even if I've brought that kind of profanity, to say, to the conversation, she never allowed herself to get caught up in that. She always kept that calm and cool and just collected demeanor.
But she was your role model, basically. You kind of went there, but she built you in.
It was exemplary every time. So it was kind of like I saw that that's the better way of communicating, because like she's saying, it just, once you start calling names, it's just, there is a bigger divide, right? It's just you kind of just that gap is bigger and bigger, and it's harder to come back to conversation, especially if you say some things that you never really meant to say, or never really meant to say as a truth. It's just in a moment, and it's harder to recover from those things. So I think that was one boundary that really defined our relationship from the start.
And that's one that we rarely argue. Maybe, I don't know, once in 2 years. We don't have any arguments because of
now, how y'all do that? How y'all don't argue?
It's important to express your feelings and pick up the clues. Let's say if he likes something, and I have to remember to appreciate that, or if he doesn't like, especially if it's something he doesn't want to do, doesn't want me to do, like I don't poke him, provoke him, stuff like that. That's very important. So if you don't have that in the beginning, then why would you fight?
Thank you. I like that. I like that. Truth behind the truth. I think that is the best answer right there. Why provoke?
Right.
Why even if you love somebody? Why? What's the point?
And another thing, I'll give you an example is I wasn't never good at giving cards, greeting cards and thank you notes and stuff like that, and she always wanted to celebrate from day one, everything. First kiss, we held our hand, first time we did this, like every month we have something, so there's always something to do for me. So it just keeps us kind of together.
Do you have a core center from a spiritual perspective? I don't like to say religion, because I think that's different than relationship. But do you have a core center as it relates to a higher power, a guiding light, a leading force?
I mean, we were brought both Christian. We're not in any way, religious where we go to church, but we respect and we understand that there's
We're coming from a communist country, so it was forbidden.
It was a little bit different. We couldn't really,
Go ahead. Well, great answer, Scott. You know what? This as it
No, we
always,
want to keep going.
yeah, as it always gets to the point where we have to wrap everything up. You know, and we want to thank you guys so much for being a part of tonight. It has been really, really awesome. We will be inviting you guys back because we need to continue this conversation.
Yeah,
we haven't even got deep yet.
Not yet.
We just scratched the surface tonight, you know, finding
Yeah,
a
we
little bit
did.
about ideas and things like that. But we will continue this conversation at some point, very much so in the future. So we do want to invite you guys back. But for what we've learned tonight, oh my gosh, hey, to our audience, hey, relationships are maybe on different planes. There may be different levels. There may be there are different couples that have gotten together for different reasons. But at the end of the day, the root of it all, number one, the truth behind the truth is that all these people love each other.
Amen.
Okay.
Yes.
And the root of it is love. Okay. They may have come from different walks of life. They may have come from different perspectives. They may be in different age brackets. It may be same sex. They may be all that. But the root of it all is that they love each other and they are willing to work through whatever differences they have that we may not even have not found out about, but they're willing to work through those things. And we want to encourage you as a listener to work through whatever it is with your couple, or somebody you're getting to know, or sliding in their DM, or or having a love across the country, across the world. You know, meeting them wherever they can. Okay, be one and be diligent about finding your soulmate. That's what the bottom line is, and then the truth behind the truth. But couples, guys, thank you so much for being a part of us tonight. And we will be having you back. So we'll be in touch about having us continue this conversation and get into it a little bit bigger. Guys, thank you so much. Twana, thank you for being here tonight, Harold. You know you're home. As always, we love you guys. See you next time on the what? The truth
behind
the truth. Good night, all.
Bye from God.